Hello, my name's Bev and I'm the author of the book Please Eat, A Mother's Struggle to Free Her Teenage Son from Anorexia, which describes our family's battle with the deadly eating disorder, anorexia nervosa, which my teenage son Ben developed back in 2009 when he was just 15 years old. Two posts here, one from the 6th of September 2011 and the other from the 9th of September 2011, talking about the first couple of days at school and what was going on inside my head. The first is called So Small, So Cute, So Many Hopes and Dreams for Their Future. Remember how it was on your child's first day at big school? A small child in an overlarge brand new school uniform, new shoes shiny and unscuffed, sports bag with crisp folded sports kit, sports shoes without a microgram of mud. En route to a kind of utopia high school where everyone is friendly and bright, excelling at sport and great at music. And in this utopian setting, your child would thrive on every level. It may only be day one, but in your imagination, he's already the head boy, a handsome, strapping 18-year-old, admired and respected by staff and pupils alike, a star in the sports team and an ace on the cricket field. He will emerge with a string of A-star qualifications, be snapped up by the best universities, and come out with a brilliant degree before embarking on a fabulous career and family life. Well, that was me 7 years ago, dreaming as a school bus carried Ben to school on his very first day. Thankfully, he had 4 good years at school before the one outcome I could never have dreamed of stole 2 whole years out of my son's school life. This time last year, I wasn't dreaming. I was full of dread and apprehension as he attempted to return to school after a nightmarish year where we ended up removing him from school completely. And although the 2010-2011 year wasn't as bad, he still ended up being absent for much of the academic year as his anxiety reached new heights. So what will happen tomorrow as Ben begins his last ever year at school? I honestly don't know. Thankfully, though, I'm not feeling dread or apprehension this time round because I know we can cope with the outcome, whatever it is. And if I'm dreaming of anything, it isn't that Ben will excel academically or on the sports field. It's purely and simply that his last year at school will be okay and that he'll reintegrate successfully with his friends and become happy and well. Who gives a damn about qualifications, taking the lead in the school play or wearing a head boy's badge? In my mind, by facing his anorexia head on and refusing to give into it, he has already achieved something far, far superior to anything he could have achieved at school. Exams can always be resat. University can be entered as a mature student or not at all if that's his wish. Instead, let's focus on the things that really matter this year, like full recovery in every area of his life. And that's the end of that post. And it shows that I'm feeling, if not overconfident, I'm feeling strong, and I feel that we're going to get through this year at school, this last year at school. And it is very true what I've said about a young person who has faced a terrible illness of any sort during their young years. To fight against it and come out of it is something that is more commendable and more wonderful than any academic qualification or sports trophy. The next post from Friday, 9th of September 2011 is also about that first week at school. And it's called Putting on My Normal Hat Again, if only for one night. Tonight I will act normal. as I help out at the school's PTA welcome evening for new parents, not one of those parents will be having any inkling of what I and my son have been through over the past 26 months. I will chat happily with parents, answering questions like, what year is your son in? Has he enjoyed his 7 years at the school? Just like a normal person. To them, I will just be a normal parent, a normal member of the school PTA, no different from anyone else. And I will graciously accept the gift of flowers from the chairman of the school PTA in recognition of my support, now that I've decided the time has come to resign from the committee. Everyone will applaud and assume I'm leaving because A-level year is such a busy year, you know, what with all those university open days and applications, revision, and so on. It's only right that I focus on getting my son through his A-levels and into university, they will assume. Good old Mrs. M. What would we have done without her? She does the Christmas Fair website and everything, you know. Yet none of these new parents will realise what else I was up against while I was battling to organise the Christmas Fair, the website and everything over the last couple of years. Like the day before the 2009 Christmas Fair, for example. That morning I'd been urgently called into school by the medical staff because Ben had gone completely off the rails, and I spent the rest of the morning sitting in Sainsbury's car park in floods of tears, ringing round the committee trying to get someone else to take the Christmas Fair off my hands. That afternoon I was like a ghost or a robot as I helped set up the fair, and that evening I was in pieces, and so was Ben. And that's just one example. When I handed in my resignation earlier in the summer, the chairman said she was surprised I hadn't resigned sooner. But tonight, no one except for a small select few, including the chairman, will know the real reason for my resignation. And no one but a small select few will understand the concerned looks I get from staff in the know as they ask me how things are coming along. And that's the end of that post. That post is very interesting because it demonstrates starkly how back in 2011, even then, there was still a stigma around mental health problems and especially eating disorders. And to be honest, it was something you just didn't talk about, like maybe talking about a divorce or something that would be classed as airing your dirty washing in public kind of thing, which is absolutely outrageous. Had I been at school now, had I been on the PTA now, I would have made it very clear to everyone what the problem was. Of course I would, because thank goodness now in 2023, mental health issues and especially eating disorders are now out in the open, and the stigma has hopefully all but disappeared. And one thing I would have done is, when talking to the new parents, I would have talked about what a fantastic school it was from a pastoral perspective, from a medical perspective, how I and my son have been supported absolutely brilliantly by the staff who'd gone over and above and beyond to offer as much help as they possibly could. And yet back in 2011, I was keeping all this quiet and faking it as a so-called normal parent, talking about normal things, and even pretending to most of the PTA committee that I was resigning because, well, it was the upper sixth form year and we're going to be so busy and stuff like that. The chairman knew the real reason, and she was wonderfully supportive. She always was. But it just shows how much things have changed over the last 12 years or so, and thank goodness for that. So that's the end of that post. The next post talks about the new parents' evening that the PTA organised, but it also talks about something really important, which is when the idea of putting our experiences into a book to help other parents first came about. Something I hadn't even thought about. I knew I wanted to do something, which was why I was writing this blog, but something else, the book had never occurred to me. So it's interesting that the seeds were sown at the new parents' evening, and I'll catch up with you in the next video. Thank you for listening. You'll find a link below to my blog, and you'll also find a link to my website where you can download free PDFs of my blog, and also a link to Amazon where you can buy a copy of my book.